this video, we're going to talk about how to use virtual assistants for your staffing agency. In other words, work less, earn more. I'm Diane Prince, and I sold a staffing agency for $28 million to a public company. So let's dive in. And before we do, don't forget to hit subscribe because I share a ton of tips for you to help you to build your staffing or recruiting agency. And let's go. If you've been following me for any length of time, you know that I'm big on staffing agencies versus direct hire recruiting agencies, because this is really the way, a staffing agency is really the way to build recurring revenue. So there's some ways that are a lot more simple with direct hire agencies, but staffing agencies are really where you're going to see really see your business grow, and you're going to be able to build a sustainable business. So a lot of people ask questions like, why do I struggle to delegate tasks? Because it seems like everybody else is delegating. How can I delegate effectively without losing control? That can be really scary for a lot of people. And how to delegate work properly. What are the best practices to delegate work? So I set out to build this business where I'm currently staffing virtual assistants in staffing agencies. And I set out to create this business in a way where my main responsibility is to articulate my vision and have other people execute on my vision. I can tell you it's working out really great, and I'm here to share some tips with you on how I did it. Staffing agency running, but you're constantly drowning in the weeds. You're wearing a million hats, and let's face it, you're burned out. Does any of that sound familiar? You probably didn't start your agency to be burned out and to basically be an admin, but there is a way to delegate like a pro and create a revenue stream without losing control. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that, and that's where virtual assistants come in. And a lot of people ask me how I built my agency to 8 figures so that I could sell it to a public company, and it was definitely not all on me. Okay, as we grew, we kept on adding people. We added and delegated. Now there's ways to do that that are so much more cost effective, and it's never been easier to compete with big agencies than it is today with using offshore virtual assistants. Staffing. So we're really talking about how you can stop grinding endlessly and start scaling your staffing agency the smart way. Okay. So at A-Team, for example, at my staffing agency where we staff virtual assistants, which is called A-Team at Diane Prince Co., we believe this is your ticket to building a business that runs like a well-oiled machine. And yes, that means more time and more recurring revenue in your pocket. So if you want that, keep watching. And we're going to break down the real talk about delegation, how to do it without stressing over losing control, how A-Team works on your schedule, and how this all can play into your ultimate goal of growing a sustainable, profitable business that can potentially lead to a massive business exit. So, and even if exit isn't on your mind, don't you want to build something for yourself and your family that's an asset versus building something where you have to start over every single month? So that's what staffing and recurring revenue and staffing can do for you. So why is it so hard to delegate? Let's talk about that. As an agency owner, you might feel like if you don't do it yourself, it won't get done right. You know, you might be saying to yourself, it's just easier if I do it myself. Okay, but here's the deal. That mindset is really holding you back. You cannot scale a business, a staffing business, or any kind of business if you're buried in the weeds. You may have started your agency for freedom, right? But freedom isn't about being a one-person show. It's just not. Unless that might be aligned with your vision. But if you're watching this, I'm guessing that you really want to scale something that's sustainable. So it's about setting up the systems, getting the right contractors in place, and leveraging your time. Okay, that's where A-Team at Diane Prince Co. steps in. I say contractors, I really mean like getting the right people in the right place. If you follow EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System, what they say is the right people in the right seats. And that's so important no matter where in the world your people are sitting. And some business owners feel so connected to their business. You might feel like your business is your baby. You might feel like you're handing over the keys to your castle. But you know what? If you don't, you'll never create a sustainable revenue revenue machine that you probably want because you're watching this video. Okay, so the key first is having the right virtual assistants and having the right type of virtual assistant and the right support. So that's why at A-Team, that's why we offer strategic guidance. I do office hours with all of our virtual assistants in Manila, in India, wherever they are. We have someone in South Korea, we have someone in Australia. So wherever they are, they also have access to me and to our head integrator who is in the Philippines. So our VAs have complete support. Even our sourcing VAs have a head of sourcing who oversees them. So we've got a really robust solution because of how important it is to have the right people. A lot of people come to us and they say they already have a virtual assistant. They don't even really know what they're doing, what that person's doing. They're not really monitoring it. So our VAs are also taught to how to track metrics, how to track progress. They even have 90-day smart rocks, and they'll even project manage you to make sure that you stay on track and to help hold you accountable. That's one of the things I love about my own personal team. That's one of the things that our clients love so much. But not to make this like a total infomercial, because you can use these tactics, these strategies, even if you're finding somebody off of Fiverr. So don't just take my word for it. Here's a quote. This is from Chris Ducker, author of Virtual Freedom and founder. And he says, the key to scaling a business lies in mastering delegation. Virtual assistants are not just task doers, okay? If you find the right people. They're critical to freeing up time so you can focus on growing your business and building recurring revenue streams. I could not agree more with that quote. Okay, but here's the deal. Delegating work is not just dumping tasks on some rando that you found on the internet, okay? And nothing against randos. I've actually hired randos on the internet that work really well if properly managed, okay? So delegating is about creating a collaborative, productive workflow. The real magic happens when you assign works based on strengths and also identifying your own strengths so that you stay in your own zone of genius. So maybe it's something like, maybe you hate scheduling, you hate calendaring. Even if you have Calendly, it could be a lot more effective to actually calendar in different ways. So you make sure you've got these leads, and if you're attracting people at all, you want to make sure that you have a way to get them through your pipeline. And I will tell you, sometimes people see virtual assistants as a cost. I don't look at them that way. I look at virtual assistants as an investment and a way to grow and 10x my business. It's not an expense to me, because I'm always making sure that I have an ROI. So even if just one client every single month gets over the finish line because of my virtual assistant team, I get an ROI, and it's totally worth it. If you're not doing this, you are missing out on growth opportunities. So delegation isn't always just about setting it and forgetting it. Okay, so delegation is about setting clear expectations and providing feedback and staying in the loop. Okay, but it doesn't necessarily mean staying in the weeds. If you look at it this way, I heard a founder once say, and this made so much sense to me. She said once she started growing her business and she moved from being a solopreneur to actually a founder of a growing business, she changed her daily priority. Her number one priority when she gets up in the morning is to make sure that her team has what they need to be successful. And if you do that, if you invest the time, and there is a bit of investment in time up front, okay, obviously, because if you're just saying, hey, just do it, and you're not spending any time with your VAs, you're not going to get the same results. So I recommend, like what I did, spend a lot of time, as much time as you can, with your virtual team the first 90 days, okay? And remember, that's temporary. This is not going to always be forever, but the more that you can give them the tools that they need to scale your business, the more successful they're going to be. Okay, so some people hesitate because they don't want to put in the effort, but trust me, for 3 months, this is going to change your life. We also have a team set up so that our clients get quick wins, because once you get some quick wins, you're more likely to love the process and keep engaged. So for me, for example, I know that I need my certain days where I have thinking time, okay? I need to work on the business. That's the way that my business is going to grow. So my team handles it. I can say to them, hey, you know what, make me free Mondays and Tuesdays for the next 3 months. And they do it. And they readjust my schedule. And I know when I have my clients, and I know when I have obligations or things I want to do, I can say to them, I just said to them today, okay, Fridays are going to be reserved for like collaboration chats and partnerships and things like that. Wednesdays and Thursdays are for clients, and Mondays and Tuesdays are for high-level work working on the business. And if you think that sounds unrealistic, my team, it's not like things are not getting done. My team is getting everything else done. And that includes sourcing, recruiting, and a lot of managing as well. Project management, marketing, biz dev support, LinkedIn support, all of those things are still getting done because and sales calls, by the way. So my salesperson is in the Philippines, okay? And all of this, she has perfect English, and all of this is at a fraction of the cost of if you're hiring in states and or in the US. And I would also say it's a lot less complicated and a lot less drama. Now, I'm not saying that there's not a place for people who are in the US, for hires in the US, because there is, right? But for a lot of the tasks, it just makes sense to find some really good people who are offshore so that you can compete. You can even compete with giant companies this way because you're going to be more nimble and easy, and it's going to be easier for you to really define a micro niche and build relationships with your clients. Like, think about it. The multinationals, they're only building they're building the relationships with their giants, with the enterprise clients, and their junior recruiters, they're the ones building relationships with the small and medium-sized businesses. You have a fantastic opportunity as a founder to take that over because you're not a junior recruiter. You're somebody who's really passionate about building your business. You're knowledgeable. So there's tons of opportunity there, no matter what's going on in the market. And one final bonus tip about delegation is lean into employers of record. What is an employer of record for staffing agencies? Employers of record actually become the employer of your temps or your contractors. They do, and with that, they can fund all of your temp payroll. They can do billing, accounts receivable, that includes collections. They do payroll. They report unemployment claims. So just that alone, when I built my business, I didn't really know that was really an option. So we did that all ourselves. And I can tell you, with an employer of record, it is going to save you tons of time, tons of headaches. It's going to prevent you from lawsuits because you don't know the compliance in different states that you set up for. So if that sounds like something you need, then drop us a comment and we will we'll ask you a couple of questions and we'll introduce you to who will be the best employer of record for you. So let's do a recap, okay? Adding team member, spending money on services, trusting others can be intimidating, okay? Again, I don't really look at it as spending money. I look at it as an investment because I know there's only so much I can do as a solopreneur. And I also know what I did do with a stellar team behind me, okay? So here's the truth. Delegating isn't just about freeing up your time. It's the secret to scaling your staffing agency without burning out. Okay, sometimes you're gonna have some burnout moments, I'm not gonna lie, but it's really about being able to scale your agency. Quite frankly, you just can't do it yourself. You cannot scale to 8 figures as a solopreneur. If you figure it out, let me know because I wanna know your secret, okay? So that's why we built A Team, to help you delegate effectively, build long-term revenue growth, and transform your agency into a true business, not just a hustle, okay? So again, you probably didn't start your agency to get stuck in the weeds. So if you are stuck in the weeds, it's time to get unstuck. You started it to build something bigger. And yes, it can be scary to invest in your growth, but think of it this way. Whether you're focused on scaling, preparing for an exit, or simply wanting more time than things that matter, investing in the right team is how you make that happen, okay? So if you're interested in our solution, set up a call so that we can help you to build a steady income pipeline for your staffing agency. If you want to do it yourself, subscribe, watch my content, ask me questions on here so that we can still support you in doing that. Okay, so if you found this video helpful, make sure to check out my other videos or head over to our blog where we dive even deeper into how to identify what to delegate. Links are in the description. Oh, and hey, drop a comment below if you've ever struggled with delegation. I dare you. Let's talk about what's been holding you back. If you're stuck, we've got your back, okay? Also, I want to ask you, what other business owners do you know who are ready to stop the grind and level up? Because we have an amazing referral program as well for A-Team. So thanks for staying till the end of the video. Like and subscribe for more content on how to grow your staffing agency.